Okay, Ron, thanks very much. Well, just before we get going here, let's follow up their point on Brad Marchand. Were you annoyed by that on the bench, even though you weren't here in 2011 when they won the Cup?
Yeah, well, I was still here in the stands watching the playoffs, and it's stuff like that you get annoyed with, but it's like they said too, if you give, you got to be able to take too, so.
Fair enough. All right, pleased to be joined by the popular backup goaltender of the Vancouver Canucks, Eddie Lack. Getting a shutout in your first career start at home will do wonders for your popularity. But Eddie, you know the only way to start this interview is the way we started last night's with Ryan Stanton. Here you go.
Will you remember me?
This is so cool.
This is how let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. Okay, Zach, go.
So, what do you think?
Well, I'm actually a little bit mad at my mom because I got her voice, and she's a terrible singer, and my dad is actually the good one. So
I think your comment after was, I don't think my mic was on.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing, though.
Okay.
How about the nerves of doing that, though? You know, it's part of an initiation thing for the young guys, but is it something that you could laugh about yourself a little bit there?
Yeah, you know, I was kind of prepared to do a little bit more, I think.
I think you did quite enough.
Yeah, I think you did well.
I actually thought we got away a little bit easy, so.
Well, that might have been the most uncomfortable part of the week for you, but on Monday night, your first home game starter, you get a shutout. I mean, obviously your first win must have been a big one, but what did it mean to you to have that moment and listen to the crowd react to you there?
No, it's just an awesome feeling for me, and something I've been waiting for since the start of the season here to play at home, and I was really pumped up and just wanted to get the game going and to finish the night off with the shutout. It makes it even better.
How did the shutout play at home in Sweden, in particular with your father? I think we got a shot at your father.
Yeah. Well, him and my mom was up watching the game, and they were all excited for me, and I think both my mom and my dad cried a little bit, and joy tears. So it was probably a good day for them.
Do we have those pictures of Eddie with his father? Yeah, there's one.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us what your father's name is. He's a carpenter, right?
Jan.
Yeah.
Jan.
And how much he's meant to you during your career?
Yeah, well, he's always been the one driving me to practice, and he was actually my first coach, and he was actually my goalie coach up until I was 14 or 15, and he's always been there for me and my mom. She's always been there for me too, and
there's a beautiful picture.
I was a little bit smaller back then, but yeah. Still having fun, though.
Well, you know, you've had 3 years in the American Hockey League, and obviously you've listened to what's been going on here with goaltender controversy and Schneider and Luongo. The way it worked out for you this year, can you find yourself now really settling into this role and feeling a part of this group now? Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we have a team that accepts our roles, and I know I'm the backup, and I know I'm gonna play hopefully 15 to 20 games, and hopefully I can help the team get some wins too.
Now, I'm always interested in the goaltender, especially a young guy coming in with a veteran like Roberto has gone through. What was your relationship like right from the start? I mean, how did you handle moving into that role with him?
Well, from the start, I remember my first training camp coming in, and I got to the room a little bit before him, and I figured out I'm going to be rooming with Roberto, and I remember calling friends and family in Sweden, and it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna room with Roberto, and now I'm playing on the same team as him. So it's very exciting.
How did he treat you that first year?
Oh, good.
Camp?
Good.
Was he cruel?
No, he bought me breakfast every morning.
Yeah.
All right, listen, here's get the first tweet in from Katie Steed, or Stead, I'm not sure how to say it, but she wants to know how your life has changed since playing in the NHL this year as compared to being in the AHL, now that you're in the show.
Well, it's a lot more fancy fights than grinding bus rides, that's for sure. And, No, just being able to play with and practice with such good players every day. It's definitely something different.
Tweet from the Clapperton. Because you were just talking about your relationship with Roberto Luongo. What's one word you would use to describe Roberto Luongo?
Role model.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's 2, but that's okay.
Yeah, okay. That's fair enough.
It is? Oh, Swedish problem.
Last July, when it looked very much like you were going to be here as the backup, Roberto sent out a tweet saying, Eddie Lack, don't get any ideas. I'm warning you. And you responded with this tweet. I think we have it here. With a picture. You said, I'm practicing at home to be as fast as my idol. I think we all know what that's in reference to, but it's funnier, Eddie, if you explain it.
Yeah, well, we all heard about Luongo's playoff story there when I had to go to the bathroom in the middle of a period. So
it was prior to the start
playoff
of OT.
game. No,
yeah,
against Anaheim prior to the start of OT.
So I figured if this is what it takes to be the best, I gotta practice at it.
Well, when you find the experience of playing in Manitoba, you started with 53 games and playing another 46 down in Chicago. You know, as much as you want to be in the NHL, how much has that experience of getting that load of ice time helped you in your preparation here?
No, it's very important, especially we don't play that many games in Sweden either, and
right.
it's a little bit different playing back-to-back or 3-3 even. So it's very important getting into a lot of games and getting used to the smaller ice as well.
Was it a real adjustment physically for you there and mentally, the combination of both, though, to play that much?
No, like I liked it from the start.
Yeah.
I always like competing, and it's way more fun playing games than practicing for sure.
When we had Roberto on this program, I think it was 3 weeks ago, we got a ton of tweets from people wanting to know why he had not accepted your invitation to dinner. This is what he said. Why do you keep bailing on Eddie's dinner invites?
Well,
Eddie Lack.
He kept well, he wants to go to Applebee's, you know. Like, now that he signed his extension, hopefully, you know, he can take me out to a nice dinner somewhere. And
Okay, well, we should point out that Applebee's wasn't in the least offended by that. They sent a tweet out saying, "Hey, Eddie, we're here for you." But here's the question that if I got 100 tweets about questions for you today, every second one was about this, so let's get it out of the way. This is from Aquila. Canucks fans want to know what happened to the dinner date with Strombone 1. So what's the story here?
So let me get this straight. First, I've been like on him and nagging, and I'm like, we have to do a dinner. We have to do a goalie union dinner here and get our thoughts together. And then finally one day he said, okay, we're in New York, so we're going to do this. And I figured out on the bus ride on the way to practice that we actually had a planned team dinner. So he kind of tricked me to get out of the way. So like the team dinner doesn't really count as a one-on-one date. And then now the last time I kind of stood him up for an old friend. So so I guess it's 1-1, but I'm definitely going to try to get him out here in Dallas.
Okay, so it's not a raging controversy then?
No.
All right. Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way.
It might turn
It's
out
getting
that
there,
way.
though. It's starting to move towards that.
You played only 13 games in the American League last year because you had to have hip flexor surgery. I'm just wondering, as we were talking about this earlier today, if because we're seeing so much more hip flexor surgery in goaltenders, if this is a product of the style these days, the butterfly that goaltenders have to get in and out of, you know, probably 100 times a game.
Yeah, like it definitely puts a lot more pressure on the body, and especially in these knees and hips. So I feel like after my surgery now, I'm way more aware of it, and I know what to do to make myself feel better. So.
All right, well, we've got a couple of goals here that I think underline the fact that the hip flexor surgery was a success. Let's start with one against Brad Richardson, New York. This is behind the back paddle. Was this you at your acrobatic best?
Yeah. I don't know. I think Tanev hit me a little bit on the way over, so I slid a little bit, but then it hit my stick. But I also think Tanev saved it. I'm pretty sure he would have won in if he wasn't there. So.
You go through the process of going through surgery and rehab. At what point do you get comfortable in rehab where you know, I feel good, I can do what I have to do? Is that a very long process for you?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a roller coaster for sure, but like I said before, I feel like I had very, very good support from my family and friends, and they told me to stick with it, and I did, and it worked out great in the end.
Canucks rewarded you with a new 2-year deal in mid-November. It's probably the quietest Vancouver contract extension in history. Were you surprised that they wanted to get you tidied up so quickly?
Yeah, I actually heard about the deal at lunchtime that day, and then right after the game, I think it was 9:30 or something, I signed the deal. So it went very fast, but
you were easy.
yeah, yeah. But for sure, it was something that both of us wanted to get done.
Here's a tweet from Sonia. How did this whole hashtag blame Tanev thing start? Because he's playing great. He's on a guy
he's
who should be
playing
blamed
well.
for
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. I remember he scored his first goal, and someone on Twitter blamed him. Started blaming Tanev, and then I started to blame him because I couldn't get enough sleep that night because I had to stay up and watch his game-winning goal, and then I just blamed him for everything, for not wanting to take out the garbage or walking the dog, and yeah, just spun along there.
Here's a quote from you in a feature that ran on Canuck TV. I'm not doing goaltenders any favors when it comes to being seen as normal. You don't strike me that way because you just look like a guy who's having a ton of fun playing in the NHL and appreciates where you are. But do you have a lot of eccentricities?
I have a little bit, but I wouldn't say that I'm like Briskalov or some of the other guys out there. But I think I come up as a pretty weird dude sometimes.
Do you find, though, that you're comfortable now? I know from playing in the game, it's so important to have a goaltender who communicates. Are you the type of player on the ice that will really talk to your defenseman and communicate well at this level even? You comfortable doing that now?
Yeah, I try to, and I feel like we're having such a good, stable D-core, too, and it's easy to pretty much talk to them about everything, and I feel like we'll have a high roof in there, so...
Tweet from the rawest dog. He admires your approach to the game, but do you have any game day rituals?
Not really. I really like to eat kind of the same thing before games, but and have my usual nap. But other than that, I'm pretty easy, I think.
I'm not sure everyone watching on Monday night when you got the shutout would have caught it, but at the end of the game, you celebrated with what's known as the Lack Dance. Here's well, actually, let's have a look at it first. This did catch on in Chicago. What's the story behind it?
Yeah, I remember in Sweden when I played, and I don't know, I think we just won a really tight game, and I was really excited, and I did this kind of thing after, and it just caught on, and I've been doing it ever since.
Tweet from Adrian Prime. It's not so much a question, but he says you got more moves than a U-Haul. So we're going to head to break
Is
here.
that a good thing?
Yeah, well,
U-Haul's a trailer.
Okay.
And it's used for moving furniture and things like that. Well, come on, Eddie, do the Lack Dance.
Yeah, there you go.
Eddie Lack, ladies and gentlemen, dancing us to break. So he's our guest on After Hours. What inspired him to chase a pro hockey and NHL dream? And that's up for discussion next on After Hours. Welcome back to Rogers Arena in Vancouver. Canuck backup goaltender Eddie Lack is our guest, and Canuck Christmas sweaters are all the rage. You look marvelous. Thank you. Here's a tweet from Rain City. Be honest, Eddie, that sweater is your own, right?
Well, it actually wasn't, but I will confirm right now that this thing won't be going out for auction. This will be coming home with me.
Yes, you're going to buy it in the auction.
Well, we should point out that the sweaters are available for purchase at, and I think the site you go to is at auction campus.nhl.com. They're available there till December 17th. All proceeds go to the Canucks charities. Be a fashion critic for us here. What do you think of Kevin Bieksa's sweater? It looks like he's posing for GQ there.
Kevin Bieksa's face pretty much says everything. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's trying to like kill someone on the ice or like what's going on, but he's very passionate with this photo. That's for sure.
Ryan Kessler looks like he just had a conversation with Brad Marchand here.
He looks very cute, actually. I talked to him about the sweater, and he actually wasn't too happy, but I think for sure I give him a 7 out of 10 or something.
Dale Weiss said that Roberto Luongo's sweater made him look like a slot machine threw up on him.
Yeah.
The lines across both ways, yes.
And,
All hearts.
Yeah, he's got a lot of hearts there.
Eddie, just before we get to how you got here, some players, your teammate Roberto Luongo in particular, is prolific on Twitter. He's got a very funny account. He's kind of like a must-follow. You're pretty good, but you don't try to force it. So I noticed this tweet that you sent out in August, and I'll just have you read it.
If you're wondering why I haven't tweeted in a while, it's because I got nothing to say. Hashtag boring person, hashtag unfollow.
You see,
haha.
that's the kind of brutal honesty that Twitter could use more of. Okay, the 94 Lillehammer Olympics, Sweden's first ever Olympic hockey gold.
Yeah.
If it hadn't happened, would you be here now?
I probably would have been a soccer player or something boring like that. No, but it was just an unbelievable feeling for our whole country. And I remember, I don't even think I saw it on TV.
Well, how about this?
The final, I was following it on radio, and
Yeah.
and me and my dad were just going nuts in the basement. So, it was a lot of fun, and after that I said, okay, Dad, I want to try this hockey thing.
I've always been interested, though. We've talked a lot about European players where their focus has been on World Championships and the Olympics and the dreams of that. Do you have a balance there of, as you did get into hockey, was it about winning an Olympic gold, or was the Stanley Cup on your radar even back then? Did you have a feeling of that?
Yeah, I always collected hockey cards when I was a kid, and that's kind of where NHL got in the picture, and since then I always wanted to play here.
You know, we saw the Forsberg goal, which gave Sweden the lead in the game, but it remained for Tommy Salo to stop Paul Kariya, which that's probably a bigger moment for him, I guess. And this is what secured the Olympic gold medal for Sweden. Now, Corey Hirsch.
It was a risky play, wasn't it? Eh?
Yeah.
You gambled on that one, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know if that would be a save.
Is that the style that you would use on that? That's a tough play.
Maybe I'll try next game.
Okay, yeah.
Corey Hirsch, whom Forsberg scored on, you and he have something in common. Do you know what it is?
We both played in the Swedish League.
No, well, maybe, but he. The bigger thing is that he played 100 games here between, what was it, 95 and 99. So you're both have been Vancouver Canucks.
Awesome.
There. How about that? You learn something every day. Here's a tweet from Ravi Manman. Do you ever picture yourself playing for Sweden in the Olympics?
I am, but I don't think it's going to happen this year, but hopefully in 4 years. I don't know where it is, but that's another goal for me for sure.
It's a picture of you, Eddie, I think at the age of 8 and in full goalie equipment, and the pads look almost as big then as they are now.
Was it always going to be a goalie, Eddie? Like some kids try it out forward and then end up back in the net. Were you always in your mind that that's where you were going to be?
Yeah, I actually started off with the kids that was 1 year older than me.
Yeah.
So I was always kind of like the bad skater. And then I remember I tried to be a goalie, and I was like, no, like I'm going to be the first guy and steal the pads every day, because this is what I want to do.
It's a tweet from Waylon Naylan. Your favorite goaltender as a kid?
Tommy Salo for that save, but I also really liked Patrick Roy, which was kind of funny that we played against him last week, and when Henrik Lundqvist made it big, I've been kind of following him. So
hey, there's the BX kids over there. What's that?
That's not bad, actually. It looks pretty good.
Yours was beautiful.
Yours were brutal.
Okay, we got to get to two quick things here because we're running out of time. You made your pro debut in Sweden's second division with Leksand, where in 08-09 you played with Hall of Famer Eddie Belfour. I'm not sure people even recall that Eddie played 20 games with Leksand. So, of course, you knew him by reputation, and the story is that you actually beat him out. There you are together. That you actually beat him out for the starting job. Is that true?
No. I actually played the first 15 games of the season, and then they signed him, and obviously I was a little bit mad because I still wanted to keep playing, but then I just thought to myself, I'm 18 years old, and he played about 22 years in the NHL, so just gotta try and learn from this guy and pick up as much as possible.
Excellent. Listen, let's get to your mask.
Yeah.
Goaltenders, as we all know, can display their personality with the mask design that they have, and let's have you explain yours.
Well,
on both sides.
Yeah. So the front, I kind of want just a basic mask, and the Johnny Canuck here.
Canuck, yeah.
Yeah, and he's always doing a great job for me, and on the back here, I got my dad, 'cause I always want him on my shoulder or close there when I'm playing, and then I got the Swedish chef on the other side. Yeah, Berkey.
Well, you know, most people I would think a lot of Swedes wouldn't like that stereotypical comedy, right?
That's
that
great.
you all resemble the Swedish chef on the Muppets, but you don't take any offense to it whatsoever, apparently. Now, how did that end up on your mask?
Well, it actually started when I had my surgery. My mom and grandma came over to Chicago to take care of me, and my grandma was the one taking care of the kitchen and the cooking, and we never kind of heard what she was saying. She was always like walking around in the background,
doing what?
Berkey. so that's kind of how that came out.
All right, we're gonna finish here with one quick tweet. This is from Jocelyn Aspa. Schneider did some pretty good Hansen impressions. Can you impersonate anyone?
No, I'm terrible.
All right. Well, Eddie, it's something you've worked for since the age of 6. You should say it's nice when you chase your dream and you catch it as you have. Thanks for being on the program.
Thanks, guys.
Well done, Eddie. Good job.
Eddie Lack, our guest on After Hours.